Hi there, my name's Lee James and I'm the lead of the Micro Enterprise Programme in Pembrokeshire, which is part of the Catalyst for Care project. The project is supported by PlanEd, PAVS and Pembrokeshire County Council. This quick video is to help you to understand the directory of care and support enterprises, help you decide if a micro enterprise service would be right for you, and practically how to make an inquiry and access one of these services. So before we dive into that, important to clarify what the word microenterprise means because it'll be new to most people. So basically, it just means a small, independent care support service that helps people to live independently and well. Most microenterprises are sole traders or self-employed. We do have in our directory a few partnerships and small limited businesses that employ just a handful of people. So onto the directory. So I'll share screen to talk you through it. You will find the directory on the PlanEd website under the Catalyst for Care project. To get to the actual list of services, the actual directory, there's a red button at the top. Click here to view the directory. So that will get you to this PDF page here. So the first few pages of the directory explains how to use it, and I'll go back to that in just a sec. The actual services start on page 4. If you want to view where the services are on a map of Pembrokeshire, you can click on this blue hyperlink and it'll take you here to a Google map. So all the purple points are micro enterprise services. You can click on one of the points to see the name of the service. This one's PJB Bespoke Home Services, led by Paul Bamber, and then go back to the directory to find out a little bit more about the service. Most micros travel about 30 minutes from where they're based. The whole point is for them to work more locally. So this map might help you at a glance to see that the service is close to you. So back to the directory. Very simply, you've got a list of services. Here is the service name and contact details so you can get in touch, the description of the service. A lot of services have Facebook pages or little websites where you can find out a bit more than we can fit onto a little table here. Lots of services have customer testimonials and pictures and a little bit more content. The area, clarifying where they're based, and an indication of their availability. The services are broadly listed from North Pembrokeshire, starting on the kind of North Pembrokeshire Ceredigion border, running down to South Pembrokeshire. And you'll notice some of the services have a red asterisk next to their name. This is just to make it easy to identify those services that provide personal care. So the ones with a red asterisk can provide personal care. Most services are able to offer personal care, but some, such as this one, Hope at Home, aren't. So that's if you are looking for personal care, that again might help you to find the service you're after a bit quicker. So scrolling back to the top where it explains how the directory is used. This table is, I think, the most important thing. So this side, micro enterprises can be a good option for people so these are the reasons why you might like to use a micro enterprise service. So the whole point of why we're supporting small services alongside the kind of larger services that already exist is that micro enterprises can offer people continuity and time, which can be a bit of a struggle for larger services to provide with their larger setup. So continuity being the same person coming in to provide that support, so you can build a real relationship together. And time, it's a private service that you'll agree with a micro enterprise. So you could, if you want 2 hours in a row and that works for the service, then you can get that. Whereas larger providers often might not be able to provide that length of time. So through that time and that continuity, you can really build a trusting relationship with each other. And particularly if you're looking for support with social emotional needs, support to get out and about and do the things that you love, it's really through that time and continuity you can get to do that. And also another big benefit is for people living with dementia, having that continuity in that time is really important. Micros can also offer a little bit of flexibility. So it's a personal one-to-one service. That's why we're supporting these small services. Now, this part of the table, things to consider. The first thing to say is that micro enterprise services aren't for everyone. And basically, there's three things you have to be happy with for if a micro enterprise service could be right for you. So it's these three things in the table here. So firstly, that means that the person being supported or their responsible person has to be happy and able to direct and control the micro enterprise. So most micro enterprises are not registered with the Care Inspectorate Wales. As I'm speaking here in January 2023, none of the micro enterprises are currently registered with Care Inspectorate Wales. So the exemption they operate under is that the family they're supporting, the person or the responsible person, have to be able to direct and control them, and the micro enterprise will follow that person's direction. So under that relationship, they're safe and legal. So practically that means, agreeing your support plan with the micro and communicating how you want to be supported to create that plan, discussing and agreeing a service agreement contract, which we'll touch on a little later, telling them, if they want things to change, arranging holiday, doing the invoicing. So you've got to be able to, have that relationship and do that organising with the and directing the micro enterprise. The second thing is, it's your responsibility as a family or the person looking for support to interview the micro enterprise, meet them, and make appropriate checks. So to be part of this directory, they have met with me and gone through an action plan of all the things they need to do to set up safely and legally. And this forms our code of practice, which you can click on this hyperlink to see, things like having appropriate insurance, understanding of safeguarding and risk management. But we, as a project or not an agency, we are not registered with the Care Inspectorate Wales, so we physically don't check those things. It's a self-declaration for micro enterprises to say that they are happy with that code of practice. So it's important that you, the customer, make those checks yourself, and it's your responsibility to make those checks and ultimately decide that you're happy with the service. And you'll see if you scroll down, there's a list of checks to make around checking their insurance, DBS, etc. And then this bit is talking about the service agreement contract, making sure everyone's happy with what's included in the payment, what happens if someone wants to go on holiday, or what happens if they're sick, how do you make a complaint, what's the notice period for ending the agreement, all that stuff, what if questions to get discussed, organised and agreed before you start. So that's point two. You've got to make the checks and decide that you're happy with the service. And point three is around contingency plans. So it's important to understand, particularly with sole traders, they're just one person. So what is the plan if they're sick or have to cancel a visit for any reason? So the bottom line is, if there is no plan and someone's potentially going to be left vulnerable, then a small independent micro enterprise service isn't right for you, and you'd be better with a larger Care Inspectorate Wales regulated service with a bank of staff that can provide that kind of cover. So practically, there's some scenarios which make this work. So if you're only looking for sort of home help and companionship, you and the family might agree that, if on the rare case a micro enterprise has to cancel a visit, then, that's fine for you. There's no safety issues and you can reschedule. The next layer up, if there's some, personal care involved perhaps and meals, what a lot of micro enterprises do is they have, a family WhatsApp group. So there's, a few family members that are identified and happy to step in to provide that support on the rare case that a micro will need to cancel a visit. And then for people who need, more frequent care, quite often clients and families will contract with more than one sole trader, so they can share those shifts and have those conversations between them and the family that if anyone is off, there's some sort of cover in place. So again, that's your responsibility. You and the micro have to be happy with that contingency. So just to summarise that point and these three things in particular, if you're interested in inquiring to a micro enterprise and accessing one of those services, you have to be happy with these three things. You direct and control, you've got to make the checks and decide you're happy with the service, and you've got to be happy there's a contingency plan in place. So if you're happy with those three things, then you can go ahead and go shopping and see what's available. Fab. So scrolling down past the checks, just to clarify how you use the directory. So I just kind of showed you the services. So there's no middleman. So you can have a look at the directory and get in touch directly with the services that you're interested in. Have an initial conversation about whether the service can meet your needs and has appropriate training, and also the practicalities of whether you're happy with the price. Micro enterprises, they're all their own small services that offer slightly different things. So, that they charge differently as appropriate. The range is from about £15 an hour to £18 an hour. So, happy with the needs, happy with the price and availability, happy with the contingency plans. And then if it all sounds good, you can meet up with a micro enterprise. You'll do a support plan together to agree, coming from you, the family, how you'd like the micro enterprise to support the person. And as we said, to discuss and agree and sign a service agreement contract, agreeing all those terms. If you are using direct payments, you can talk to the direct payments team at Pembrokeshire County Council or your independent living advisor about using a micro enterprise, which is absolutely fine. You can use your direct payments to purchase a micro enterprise. And the final thing to say is, if you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with myself. In this section here, you'll see my details. So that's my email address, lee.james@planed.org.uk, and my work mobile number, you'll get directly through to me. So if you want to have a chat about anything I just said, talk a bit more about services of micro enterprises, please get in touch. Okay, thank you for listening.